Hi guys and welcome to Trustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What you are looking at is the Scorpio Classic that still exists in the Indian market. Of course, it has been revamped in whatever way it was possible to keep the old retaining platform and shape and design in check and on sale to make sure that people who really like this can continue with it, or they can go with the Scorpion N, which is a far more superior product. But at the same time, Mahindra has made a lot of effort to make sure that this thing still sort of works really well. There are mechanical changes, design changes, and of course a huge revision to the interior, the variants of course, which translates down to the feature list, and then that translates to the interior aspect of the Scorpio Classic. Here there are only two variants, the Scorpio Classic S and the Scorpio Classic S11. That should mean that it is an 11 top of the line variant, but at the same time this also feels like a base variant because the features are bare minimum. And we've already done a walk around video of this from the inside when it was launched immediately. Now we have it in person in the real light, so you can have a good look at the car. We've already explained to you how the new bumper looks nice. You've got the new grille, the new logo, the headlamp design, the LED DRL is still the same. It looks really nice, really macho, but the alloy wheels are new. The Scorpio element here along with on the side has been changed a bit, and the iconic silhouette all around is pretty much the same. You've got similar tail lamps as before, and they are old school indeed. This is the new classic badging along with the S11 badging. The new Mahindra logos have made it to every car that is being sold right now. And if you're at the back, let me just show you. This is the jump seat setup that we're getting here, and fit, finish and quality of course could have been better. There are no headrests here as well because they will not do much, so they're not getting it as well. And these seats fold up all the way on the top, and you can use it as a boot as well, which I showed you earlier in my walk around video. You've got the speakers here, and there is already a bit of a rattle that we can hear from the rear door. We can't find out which exactly that part is. You've got double blade wipers at the back, but at the front they are the usual wipers surprisingly. And let me just show you what the rear seat is all about. I'll be going it through briefly. Going in detail doesn't make sense because I've already explained you in detail what is on offer with the S11. And as you can see, there are seat belts here, and again, like I said, fit, finish and quality, at least the fit finish part could have been better in this car. There has been a big change, but there is still room for improvement. And Mahindra has removed the 12-volt socket from here. You've just got a cup holder and AC vents here, and you've got armrests for the front seats and the rear seats as well. You sit quite high. You get that royal feel from the Scorpio at the back seat. Knee room is just about okay with my height, and foot room is just about great too. Headroom of course is more than enough, and you've got the door pads here at the back with a large bottle holder and no other aspect to put anything else. And you've got the switches here, and you've also got a small pocket here as well. Of course there is no sunroof on offer with the Classic. And at the front you can see height adjustable seat belts, the new steering wheel with the new logo. The instrument cluster doesn't get anything except for what you see, except the gear shift indicator and the trip and odometer. That is it. Those are the switches for the functions, which is the defogger as well as the fuel cap. Armrests, storage here, 12-volt socket here, some storage here as well. And at the front you can see the door pads are very, very thin. It can only house something like a wallet, so that continues to be a sore point in the Classic as well, because it is what it is from the past with minimum changes. And this is the screen. It's very hard to see right now because, as you can imagine, in sunlight it is difficult. And let me just lock the doors manually because there's no other way to do it. There's no specific button. Classic is going to be bare minimum. This is going to make also sort of make sure that it can be used in multiple aspects, like how we have the army version being ready with 4x4. So this is going to serve for them, and it's going to be easy for Mahindra to make sure that they serve all intended purposes that they want to do in the future. And of course this Scorpio Classic will also be retained for the forces and the government officials and departments wherever it's deemed required. That's the glove box. again just about okay in size. You've got a nice Piona black finish here. The coming to this very specific infotainment system, it's an aftermarket unit. Mahindra has given it the step treatment where it doesn't even get the Mahindra's own system. This is just about okay. It is smooth, it is pretty fast, not really fast, and as you can see, it's really hard to read in sunlight. The brightness was maxed out. This is a brand new car, so we had to set it up entirely. And you've got Bluetooth that works really well. Sound system is just about okay for a car that costs almost 16-17 lakh rupees on road. It is not that great, but the overall Scorpio feel is intact, and that is what really is necessary with this car. And yeah, you've got this mat here to keep some things below the handbrake. And handbrake, as you can see, you have to make sure that you close it like this and not like this. Your hand can get stuck here. That's a very old thing to with the Scorpio. You've got the steering that is adjustable only for reach, not rake. So that is also something that tall people will find a little cumbersome. AC works really well. It is IRVM, continues to be manual. It is manual in pretty much every Mahindra car, even in the flagship XUV. And sunglasses holder is here. A tip how to keep the air cooling. And you've got auto start stop here, which is very annoying to begin with. Then you get used to it. Every time you press the clutch, you will start the car. And when you switch off the car, when you switch off the start stop system without pressing the clutch, you will have to restart the car. So make sure that you on off the car and then switch it off and not restart the car entirely. Hope you understood that. It's slightly complicated, and but you'll understand it in a day itself. The seats are a bit thin, and they could have been more comfortable, but under thigh support is good at the front on both seats. You've got armrests at the back also, lot of base, but since it's wide, so it's fine. At the front they can use a bit more width on the back side. And the material, of course, as you can see, it's already getting dirty. Even in a brand new car, of course, this is being used with multiple people. And nevertheless, I explained to you what the infotainment system is like, what is on offer with the new car. New Scorpio Classic. New Scorpio Classic is what we can call it at best. And yeah, let's jump to the driving part, which is important, which we've not done before, but we've spent an entire week with it. And let me explain you what it is like. So what is the Mahindra Scorpio Classic like to drive? Well, this is an engine, a 2.2 M-Hawk motor borrowed from the Thar. It makes 130 PS of power and 300 Nm of torque. The engine is significantly more refined than before, and the inside NVH levels from the engine are bare minimum. There is vibration at idle, but that's about it. You don't even hear the engine much, which is a great news. Even at while cruising, you will be able to hear the same amount what you are hearing at idle. So I think that is significant improvement in NVH, thanks to the engine that is borrowed from the Thar. That engine is 55 kilos lighter. It meets the BS6 phase 2 norms, and that has upped the fuel efficiency, that has upped the tank range, that has upped the refinement levels, and it's sort of lost that character. But since the Scorpio is always an SUV that has been, let's say, very light on its feet, you still get that excellent power to weight ratio, and the shove that you get at low speeds and medium and at mid range is really nice. Top end, of course, is bare minimum with the engine topping out at around 3000 rpm, and after 3500 rpm there is no need to really go ahead above that, because since it's an engine from the Thar, it is exactly behaving like that as well, even in this car, because the weight is around the same. Of course, the length and the height is much more in the Scorpio, but it doesn't feel taxed in any way. You'll get excellent drivability. It can do 80, 100 in no time, and it can do 100 to 140 also when you want it. And when you do that, you will realize the body control on the car. The ride quality also has significantly improved. It feels much more sophisticated till 100 kilometers an hour. Even after that, it feels just about okay on the Mumbai-Pune expressway. And given what I drove 10 years ago, exactly in 2013, and what I'm driving right now in 2023, is a world of a difference. Which was already a very improved car, this is now feels like a classic car that has been revamped, and it is on sale, and it is being produced in a factory. So Mahindra has gotten the vibe and the feel just right with the Scorpio Classic. It feels like a classic, it feels like an old car, but doesn't have those issues of the past, so that is really amazing. It's of course got that bumpiness when you go slightly fast over over a badly patched road or over bad roads. If you increase your speed, it will pitch and bob a bit, but that is significantly well controlled as well. Of course, the brakes still continue to be a little too on the spongy side, at least the pedal bite. The brakes power also could have been better, because when you're braking from high speed, more power would have been appreciated. But then again, you have to drive this car sanely, and you won't be pushing this car a lot around hard corners or really V-maxing it out. You will have to do that and you will have to plan your braking and be very cautious while doing so. I don't think anybody is going to do that, but if anybody would do this is sort of a helpful advice from a tip from our end, is that be very cautious about it, because this is of course a very tall SUV, and that is something that is always advised. This is not very specific with the Scorpio anyways. Like I said, really good refinement, really good suspension. The brakes continue to be a little bit on the spongy side with the pedal bite, and the performance also can be better. Coming to the steering, it also remains pretty much the same, so it's slightly heavy at low speeds, but when you get moving, the steering also becomes light. In the past it became too light. Now it feels slightly more responsive, slightly more feedback rich, and a bit heavy at higher speeds. It doesn't feel disconnected anymore, so that is also a great move. I don't know how that has happened, but it has happened, and it has happened for the good. What I want to very specifically discuss is the gear shifter on the Scorpio, because the earlier one got a taller stick, which was easier to change gears. This is also pretty easy. The cable cable shifter here is smooth and the gates are well defined, but that taller shifter was somehow much better suited to the car. Of course, that is not coming anytime soon. This is borrowed from the Thar, so that's how it looks like, and that's how it is. I think even if Mahindra can make it a bit taller, that is great, but doing a specific engineering aspect as big as that for a car that is on sale, just to make sure that the enthusiasts stay happy and a certain market gets the demand met, I don't expect Mahindra doing anytime soon. I will miss the older one because it was a taller unit. It was getting better with time, but Mahindra has just completely taken that out and put in a new shifter, and I think it's nice, but that suited the Scorpio really well, and that was also well defined with its gates, and it was pretty smooth enough. Yeah, I guess, like I said, highway stability is good, ride quality is excellent, suspension feels much better than before. I explained to you the gear shifter, the brakes, the steering and the gear shifter, and what the interior and exterior are all about. And like I also said, it's a little expensive what Mahindra is offering with this car. It's just bare basic and a bit more, and I think that is where you think that yeah, the pricing is justified to a large extent, if not entirely. And we are really happy with the Classic. It's great to be spending some time with this car and reacquainting yourself from the past, and that is something that people look forward to every day, and for them the Classic is here and it's here to stay, hopefully, fingers crossed, for as long as possible. And that's how we want to sum up our time with the Classic here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, share and subscribe please, and follow us on our website and social media for everyday updates. Goodbye.